Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Tonight I'm just going to do a really quick tutorial for you. It's on how to create a vignette in Photoshop, and it's pretty easy. I mean, there's a couple of ways that you can do it, and you can actually manually do a vignette in Photoshop, but this will just be a really simple method of doing it. I'm going to show you guys how to do it in Photoshop and also how to do it on Camera Raw. So vignettes, for people that don't really know what they are, they're like kind of a dark shadow on the outside of the image usually that will sort of bring you into the image a little bit more, and it's just kind of like a lighting technique. Sometimes it can be done in camera, and a lot of the time it's done in post-processing, and sometimes a vignette can also be lighter, sort of to give a halo effect or like a heavenly kind of look, but generally it will be darker and will bring you into the image. So to demonstrate what I mean, it's really simple. So all you have to do is go to Filter and Lens Correction in Photoshop, and then we just go over to this tab over here, which is Custom, and then we can change the vignette settings so we can bring it in. Usually with the amount, it will just kind of be the amount of darkness that you want on the outside of the image. So obviously just by doing that, you can see that there's a darker shadow coming in on the corners, and then we can move the midpoint. So the midpoint will sort of give it, it's kind of like the faded effect. So the midpoint will determine how sharp the edges of the vignette will be. So as you can see, if I move that in, that definitely moves it in a lot more. So I'll move the amount in just a little bit more to give it a little bit more of a dramatic look and show you guys what this actually does. So I'll just move the midpoint in even more. I just kind of want it to be like a really soft vignette with this particular photo. Sometimes it looks better on certain photos if it is a little bit more harsher and more noticeable. And then we'll just press OK. As you guys can see, this has really brought you into the photo a lot more. So if I bring up my history tab on the right here, and I'm going to take a snapshot and show you guys what it looked like before. So it's a lot brighter on the corners. You know, it's very much down to personal preference. Some people like to use vignettes a lot, some people don't. But when I'm looking at this image now, I think it does actually look a bit better with a vignette, because it really does focus, it makes you focus on the person in the photo and not so much the background. And a lot of wedding photographers particularly will use this effect because it's really good for centering in on portraits, and especially couples photos. It kind of gives it a moody effect and will really make you focus on the people in the image a lot more generally. So that's the technique of doing it in Photoshop. As I said, you can do it manually with a brush or with the dodge and burn tool or whatever you like, but for this tutorial I'm just going to show you guys just two simple methods. So that was the first one, and obviously it's brought the background layer to layer 0, so you will have to flatten it if you want to save it as like a JPEG afterwards. Just a good thing to remember. So the other method is by doing it originally in Camera Raw. So if you shoot RAW, which I always recommend that you do, you can do it before you get the image into Photoshop. So I'll just demonstrate with the original RAW image in Camera Raw. So it was this one here, and we'll just move that down a bit. Okay, so to do a lens vignette in Camera Raw, we need to go to the Lens Corrections tab, which is just this one here. So we just click on that, and here it is down here. Here are the tabs. So lens vignetting, it's the same thing as doing it in Photoshop pretty much. You can change your amount and move the midpoint in. It really does come down to personal preference as far as how you like to do vignetting. I don't really recommend either way specifically. Usually I would always recommend RAW for everything first. You know, as many adjustments that you can do in RAW rather than in Photoshop, the better usually, especially when it comes to lighting in the image. However, with vignetting, I think it's a little bit different because it is more of like a creative effect, and sometimes I will already know what I want with my photos, so I'll just put the vignette on in Camera Raw, and I know it's going to suit the image regardless. However, sometimes I'm not really sure, and I do like to experiment quite a bit in Photoshop with different techniques, and sometimes I might decide that I don't want the vignette anymore. So it's really personal preference, as I said. But anyway guys, I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I'm really hoping to get some more up soon. If you guys have any requests, please send them through to me because I am willing to do them, especially when I've got free time. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!